There are a few changes with regards to copying and cutting and pasting in Excel 2010, and there's some changes with regards to formatting fonts and numbers and alignment. So let's just have a look at those. For example, I'm going to highlight the cells A1 to A14, and I'd like to take a copy of this information. One way to copy is to hit the copy button in the ribbon, so I'll take a copy. I'll go over to J1 where I wish to paste. I could simply hit the paste button, or I could hit the drop down on the paste button, and there are a variety of ways that I can paste. If I rest over these various paste options, I can actually see the effect of the choice. This, for example, will just paste the values. This will paste the values and the formatting, hence the yellow and the green, and this will paste it as a picture. This is called Live Preview, and it's fantastic. So I'm going to choose values. If I paste them as values and then think, oh no, I should have chosen a different paste option, it's not too late. You have a Paste Options button. When I click the Paste Options button, I can change my mind to values and formatting. And now I've got the values and the formatting. Or I could change my mind to pasting it as a picture. So you have paste options to change your mind at any time. If I then go back and select the cells and go back to Home, the other thing I've noticed is the Copy button actually now has a drop down in 2010. The drop down allows you to copy as a picture, which is great if you're transferring information from Excel to an email, to a PowerPoint presentation, or even a report in Word. So I'll copy it as a picture. It's asking me, do you want to copy it as shown on the screen, or copy as it would be shown if it was printed? And that really comes down to whether you want to copy the grid lines or not. So if I copy it as shown on the screen, I can copy it as a picture or a bitmap, but I'll just go OK to a picture. I'll then click on the destination, and I'll simply click Paste, and I've pasted it as a picture. The other thing that's really good with Excel 2010 are the explanations. There's a lot of functionality that was in 2003, but because there wasn't a very good explanation, people weren't very sure what the actual command button did. Let's take the Format Painter for example. The Format Painter has always been around. It was around in 2003, but the screen tip just said Format Painter, but now it actually explains that it copies the formatting from one place to another, and if you double click this button you can apply the same formatting to multiple places. So let me show you. I'll click on A1, which has got this bold and yellow background, and I'll double click the Format Painter, and now I can apply it to multiple places in my document. And when I'm finished, I just turn it off. So the screen explanations are a lot better than they were in 2003, and so people are more aware of what these various commands do, and the Format Painter is great. So that's sort of the copy, cut, paste and format group. Now let's have a look at the font group. What I might do here, for example, is just highlight this row of data. Now what we've got here, which is excellent in 2010, is the live preview. If I go for the font drop down, as I roll through the various fonts, I get a live preview of what it would look like if I applied it to my text. And I can just scroll through and just roll through the various options. So I might choose Broadway. What I really like also is it works with font size. As I roll through the various font size, I can see what the effect will be if I chose it. So I'll go for 16. If you like to work visually with font size, this is great for increasing the font size every time you click it until it's just right, or decreasing the font size every time you click this button. Bold is always there, as it was in 2003, and so is italic. But what's new is the underline button in 2010 has a drop down, and now you can easily apply single underline or double underline. What I also like is the live preview applies to fill color. So as I roll over the various colors, it will show me what it will look like if I choose it. And the same with font color. And if I need any font command above and beyond this collection of commands here, I can hit the drop down, well actually hit the font dialog box launcher, which will launch the font dialog box, and I can choose whatever I want from this selection here. Now let's just increase the height of row 1. I'm just going to drag this line between row numbers 1 and 2 down, and I might just delete this guy. and this. Alright, let's select row 1. What's new to 2010 are the vertical alignment options. I can align this text to the top, to the middle, or back to the bottom. So I'll take it to the middle. In 2003 we always had left, centered and right, but I'll choose center. But we never had these three. Vertical alignment, these three are new, and these three were always in 2003. What's new also to 2010 is the ability to change the orientation of the text. If I hit this drop down here, I might decide to rotate my text up 90 degrees. And if I want my row to be a best fit so I can see the text clearly, I'll simply double click the line between row numbers 1 and 2. And that does a best fit. If I decide to change my mind to 45 degrees, I'll choose this option here. So this is a new button as well, to change the orientation of the text along with these three buttons. If I decide to add a title, I might select row 1 and press Ctrl+, mentioned in one of the earlier videos, to quickly insert a row. And I'll add a title. I might decide to increase the size and change the font. And then I'd like to merge and center this title across these selected cells. And that's this new button here. And as it explains quite clearly, this joins the selected cells into one larger cell and centers the content in the new cell. So the explanations are really good. But notice also the merge and center button has a drop down. And if I click the drop down, I can choose just to merge the cells and not center, or to merge and center, and I'll go for that option. The other thing you have is the ability to wrap text. Now let me show you this, and this explanation is quite good too. It makes all the content visible within a cell by displaying it on multiple lines. I'll give you an example. Let's just click here for example. So I type some text that exceeds the width of that column, and then I choose wrap text. And it means that I can clearly now see all the text without having to change the width of the column. It puts the text onto multiple lines. The one thing I do dislike about this though is if we change the width of the column by a little bit or by a lot, we change the point at which it wraps. What I might like to do is control the point it wraps. So instead I'll go and type sales, and then I want figures to go on a second line. So instead of pressing enter, which means I'm finished, I press alt enter, which gives me a new line in the same cell. And I'll type figures 4, and on a new line, alt enter 2014. That means because I used alt enter to create a line break, it means that as the column width alters, the text will always wrap at that point. So you can wrap it using the icon, the new icon, or you can wrap it using alt enter. Now, as far as formatting numbers, we can highlight these numbers here, for example, and we can change them to accounting or currency or monetary values just by clicking the button. But what's new in 2010 is there's a drop down, and you can decide to change it actually to international currencies. I might go for Swiss francs, for example. Or I might decide to go for the pound, or back to New Zealand dollars. So you've got a variety of currencies you can choose from. You've also got a button, as you always did in 2003, to convert it to percentage. You've also got a button to apply commas to every thousandth. You can still decrease the decimal places and increase the decimal places using these two buttons here. But what's new to 2010 is the ability to choose a custom format. For example, I might choose these dates I have listed here, and if I hit the drop down, I can change these dates to a long date. These hash signs simply mean that the column's not wide enough, so I'm just going to double click the line between column letters H and I and do a best fit. So we have a variety of formats also in this list here. And if you need anything above and beyond this list of commands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commands, then you can hit the number dialog box launcher, or you could go into here and choose more number formats, because they both go to the same location. And now you've got the old Excel 2003 number format options.